I had a few people asking about how I get my nice chat windows for the server. I use a mod called Chat Plus, which will be linked in the description. Unfortunately, this mod does require a small amount of background knowledge to use, so I'm making this little video tutorial to give you a brief intro. You'll notice when you first open the game that, after installing the mod, that there's only one chat menu, nothing is filtered. To do the filtering, we actually need to have more than one chat window, and to make more, my preferred method is to clone the tab that we currently have. But to do that, we actually need to right-click the tab name here, but we can't do that quite yet. So we need to go to our mod settings, and we're going to go down to chat tabs, go into our settings here, and just disable hiding the chat tabs. So now when you open up your chat, you'll get the tab name. I noticed in editing I didn't actually explain how to duplicate a tab, so to do that we're just going to right-click a tab and hit clone. Right, let's get back to it. Once we have our different tabs here, we're going to want to make separate rules for them, and this is a good time to go over how to make these draggable. You're going to use right control. You can resize this window here, and we can also pull our tabs apart. So we obviously want to have a different rule here. You'll notice that all of our global chat has these angle brackets, right? These double angle brackets. That's going to be this character here. So let's make it match any message that has it somewhere in the middle. So this is any character any number of times, followed by that character, followed by any character any number of times. And we're also going to increase the priority of it because we want it to be prioritized over this. And we are also going to say skip others because once it's matched, we don't want that to pop up in any other windows. Now we're going to save and quit. And now you'll see that our chat only pops up here and everything else will pop up in this other tab. Once we're done with that, I would personally rename it to just be user chat, global chat, something of that nature. And I would prefer to have it where the current all chat is. And now we have separated everything from our user chat. Now let's do the same thing and make a server message chat. So to do that, we're going to do the same process here. I like duplicating my simplest chat window just because it has all the base settings. So we're going to duplicate it, do what we did before, where we drag it apart. And then to match our server message, you'll notice that all of them start with this vertical pipe, and then a space, and then are followed by any number of characters after that. So to do that, we're going to have to delete this. If we want the message to start with the vertical pipe, you might just want to type in the vertical pipe. To actually type the vertical pipe in the rule though, we have to escape it with this backslash. And the reason for that is this vertical pipe on its own is actually a logical operator, so this would be A or B. We want to actually just have the vertical pipe, so we do that instead. And then it's going to be followed by space, and then any character any number of times. And that will match our server chat, or server messages rather. And then again, we're going to skip others because we don't want it to pop up in our all chat. And now, if I do like /vote, for example. Sorry, not /vote. What's it called? Actually, I think it is just /vote. Yeah, there you go. And the reason this actually popped up in both of these is because I forgot to set the priority. We want to up this priority as well to a 1. Be slightly more important than this global chat. And now we do the same thing again. It'll only pop up down here. Now, what if we want to have the auctions separated from the other server stuff? Well, we can duplicate our server messages, pull them up here, right-click, edit, and then all the auction messages will follow this format. They're going to be the same thing, but they're going to specify auction. I'm just going to do that. That will match any auction listing, purchase, stuff like that. And then it needs to be slightly more important, because if we do it right now, and let's see how long it'll take for an auction item. I'll just make one myself. This doesn't actually sell it. Yeah, it'll still pop up down here because these are the same priority. So we need to increase the priority of this one up to a 2. Now, if we do the same thing, you'll see it pops up there. And now all of our auction messages are going to be up there instead. We can resize it to your liking. I keep mine up here. That is how we're going to separate our auction chat from our server chat there. Now that you know how these work, you can probably start to figure out how some of these other expressions work. For testing, I would recommend, I'm going to link a website in the description. It's an easy way to test all of your regular expressions. You can test them against example messages, things of that nature. The reason you're going to want to do that is because if you improperly format a regular expression, it will crash your game because this mod does not handle it well. But just for example, if I wanted to create like a join and leave messages, right? We're going to duplicate and then pull these apart, and then this is going to be a little bit more complicated because we have some characters that are used as specifiers. So we're going to do what we did with the vertical pipe, because join messages start with an open bracket, but the open bracket is also a grouping symbol for a regular expression, so we need to specify that we don't want the grouping symbol, we just want the explicit character. And then it's going to be followed by a minus or a plus, and to do that, we're going to have an open bracket, minus plus, and then we're going to close that bracket off. And this section right here just means match either a minus or a plus. And then we're going to do the same thing, close the brackets with that. And just again to break it down, these two mean open bracket, these mean plus or minus, and this means a close bracket. And then it can be followed by anything, right? So that's what we're going to use our dot star. It's going to be slightly more important than global chat. And then we're going to skip others if it's found. So now someone joins and leaves. There we go. Pops up right there. One more I would highly recommend is a chamber display. So we want to do the same kind of logic we did here, where we separate the server from, or sorry, the auction from the server, where we need a more specific version of this one, right? And to do that, we're going to do the same idea. We're going to have that vertical pipe, space, and then chamber starts with a capital C, can be followed by anything. But if we just did this right here, it would actually show when anybody got a chamber. So we want to specify when you see one. And the format of the message has like chambers, you sense a blank, a chamber is nearby, right? So we can actually just type in sense, and it can also be followed by anything, and this should catch anything. Chambers, and we want it to be, again, slightly more important than the server chat, so we have a priority of 2, and skip others. So now, take my word for it, if you find a chamber, it will pop up here. I can't really display that without mining, but now you shouldn't ever miss a chamber again. I know Quag does have an update, like I said, out right now. I think that chambers are more noticeable, but yeah, that's how you do the chamber separation. I think that's all I have for now. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments. And I hope this helped you.